General Flynn is a wonderful man. I think he's been treated very, very unfairly by the media, as I call it, the fake media in many cases. And I think it's really a sad thing that he was treated so badly. I think in addition to that, from intelligence, papers are being leaked, things are being leaked. It's criminal action.
President Trump railing against the leaks that have led to the downfall of his national security advisor, Michael Flynn. Trump also taking to Twitter today. The real scandal here is that classified information is illegally given out by, quote, intelligence like candy. Very un-American. Joining me now to discuss, John Hart and Erick Erickson. John, the question now is, of course, is what can President Trump do about this? I mean, obviously, we would like to see him take as draconian of actions as possible, but what are they?
Well, Charles, there's a few things he can do. Number one is he can fire the people who did this if he can identify them. It needs to be investigated. I think, intelligence leaks are one matter that we don't want to speculate too much on what happened. There needs to be an investigation, but this is part of a bigger war that Trump is going to have to wage against the administrative state. So you talked in the last segment about how do you legally go about this. Well, the way to legally do it is to work with Congress and not just the intelligence community, but throughout the entire federal government and change the laws that govern agencies. In other words, go in and use the process called regular order to pass appropriations bills that cut funding off of places where there's leaks and reform the system from within. And competence has to be Trump's calling card. He has to go agency by agency and show that he understands these programs better than the bureaucrats that want to protect the status quo. That's true not just for intelligence, but for the entire federal government.
And yet these bureaucrats, they've been at the ready guarding their turf for a long time, Eric. And it sounds easier said than done. I mean, when you talk about the swamp, this is the epicenter of the swamp.
Right. Intelligence officials in the intelligence community have leaked against Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, and now Donald Trump whenever it was to their convenience. They act as if the president serves them instead of them serving the president.
What do they get out of it, Eric?
They get left alone. Listen, Mike Flynn, I wasn't a fan of his, but he was an ardent reformer of the intelligence community. There's a huge bureaucracy in the intelligence community of people who are protecting turf and protecting jobs. Remember, before 9/11, one of the big problems that was identified by the 9/11 Commission were the turf wars and the battles within the bureaucracy of the intelligence community. Those have started cropping back up again in the past decade, and here came a reformer intended on tearing down those walls again, and they undid him before he could undo them.
John, if you look at a list of some of the worst leaks that we've ever had, WikiLeaks at the top, Deep Throat, Watergate, Pentagon Papers, the Bloomgate, Cablegate, McChrystal's war plans. These are things that you don't recall if anyone in the government ever came to justice. Right? It's like they're massive stories, and sometimes they've changed the arc of history, but there never felt like justice was served with any of these.
Right. Well, the way to serve justice, if there's a cancer from within the system where you have people, again, representing themselves in their own interests, protecting their own turf, the way to get rid of that cancer is to cut off the blood supply. So that's really the best way to retaliate, is for Trump to go in with the support of Congress, with the appropriations committees, with the Speaker, and go agency by agency and cut off funding where there's leaks like this, where there's illegality, and where there's criminal activity that needs to be prosecuted, not just defunded. But the power of the purse is a very powerful tool within government. He needs to exercise that through Congress to get at this.
It sounds like a tall task, but it sounds like one that's seriously necessary. Gentlemen, thank you both very much.